Good morning. I'm Ron Camperciani. I'm the police chief here in Mooresville. Before I read a prepared statement and take questions, let me just explain to you who's up here. To my left is Captain Jamie Quinn, who oversees Criminal Investigation Division. To his right is Detective Brandon Stiers, who oversaw this operation. To their right is two of the Board of Commissioners from Mooresville, Gary West and Will Avens. So I'll read a prepared statement, and then I'm going to get into a little more detail on these arrests, and then I'll take questions. The Mooresville Police Department recently brought charges against 8 individuals for internet crimes against children as part of Operation Milestone. This operation brought together several municipal, county, state, and federal agencies. Through the work of 78 personnel across 21 agencies, Operation Millstone led to the arrests of suspects ranging in age from 25 to 91, who use various online platforms to solicit minors. This operation also builds on the success of May's 2024's Operation Artemis, which led to the arrest of 15 individuals. The Mooresville Police Department would like to thank the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Homeland Security Investigations, United States Secret Service, North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, Brunswick County Sheriff's Office, Cabarrus County Sheriff's Office, Catawba County Sheriff's Office, Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, Conover Police Department, Cleveland County Sheriff's Office, Davidson Police Department, Gaston County Sheriff's Office, Hickory Police Department, Huntersville Police Department, Lancaster County Sheriff's Office in South Carolina, Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, Maiden Police Department, Newton Police Department, Scotland County Sheriff's Office, and the Statesville Police Department for their assistance in Operation Millstone. So the individuals taken into custody: Damon Jeffries, 25, of Salisbury, charged with felony soliciting a child by computer and appearing. He received a $250,000 secured bond. Justin Creech, the second, of Mooresville, charged with felony soliciting child by computer and appearing. He received a $30,000 secured bond. Jorge Armando Martinez, 37, living in Charlotte, charged with felony soliciting by computer and appearing. He received a $30,000 secured bond. Ismael Vasquez, 33, living in Charlotte, charged with felony soliciting child by computer and appearing, received a $30,000 secured bond. James David Courtney, 91, of Lexington, South Carolina, charged with felony soliciting child by computer. He received a $50,000 secured bond. Eddie Rigdon, 72, of Leland, North Carolina, charged with felony soliciting by computer. He received a $2,500 secured bond. And William Dane Toby, 75, of Salisbury, charged with felony soliciting child by computer and appearing. He received a $30,000 secured bond. And the last one was Manuel Crispin Gonzalez, 35, Winston-Salem, charged with misdemeanor, no operational license and fictitious or altered tag. He received a $1,000 secure bond. There's a little more to that I'll get into in a second here. So, a couple things I want to point out before I take your questions. When you look at this, we mentioned Operation Artemis here that we did last year, and I think on its outset, if you look at purely the numbers, you'll see that we arrested 15 in Artemis, we arrested 8 here. So, you know, it would give you the sense like, well, was this operation as successful as Artemis? Does that mean it's not as prevalent as it used to be? Both of those statements are false. The people that we arrested here, I view as more dangerous than the people we arrested, the bulk of the people we arrested in Artemis. And I'll go into a couple of things with that. So Damon Jefferson, who you see here with the hoodie, with the chain around his neck, he was charged in a similar operation in Cabarrus County on 10/15/24, same thing, for soliciting a child by computer. So that's still an active case that he had pending, and then he does it again. In addition to that, he admitted to investigators of 4 other hands-on offenses involving minors that are also being investigated this time by the Rowan County Sheriff's Department. Another one is James Courtney, the 91-year-old male you see here. We have received a phone call from an individual who alleges that sexual assaults have been going on for decades involving Mr. Courtney. So we're in the process of investigating that too. And as I said, these individuals, at least him, these alleged crimes are going back decades. And it may have been many jurisdictions throughout the United States. It's our understanding they moved around a lot. So we're looking into that, and we don't know how many other agencies are going to be involved in that. William Toby, which is this individual here, next to the one in the orange shirt. This operation ran last week from Tuesday through Thursday. Mr. Toby was on chat lines continuously through people we had working, the chatters, through the weekend. He was arrested on Monday. We were going to have this press conference on Monday, but we held it off because he was still on the line. He told the chatters that he was going to be at the Cannonball baseball game over the weekend. He was there with an individual that we believe may be his son and perhaps his grandchild. But the chatter also went to the game knowing he was going to be there. While he was there, the chatter also engaged in these continual sexual conversations with Mr. Toby while he was at the Cannonball game. And the chatter could see him taking out, he would text him, he would take out his phone, be in constant communication. So, like I said, I think these individuals are a danger because of what we've seen and the additional things that we know that could be coming on board. So one other thing I want to mention before I take questions, because I think this is important. It's important for the parents. I'm going to read you a list of the sites that our chatters were on and talking to these people. Parents really need to start paying attention to what sites their child are going on. When they see these childs, or if they can check their phones, they've got to be aware. I mean, all of these individuals thought they were meeting 13 or 14 or 15-year-old males or females for sex. That's what they thought. So in that wheelhouse, if you have a child in your house this age, you've got to start paying attention to what your child's on. So the sites that were most prevalent in this were Sniffles, Craigslist, Kick, which is K-I-K, Skip the Games, and Wire Club. Those are the ones that we saw the most. Those are the ones that we got the most of these hits off of. So I'll take any questions you have.
Well, with every one of these arrests, what does it mean to your police department to be able to, get these folks off the streets?
Yeah, so listen, it's important. We've made this a priority here. Obviously, we started it last year with Artemis. It was the first time we had ever done anything like that here. This is we go by what the community wants, right, and what we feel. And this is obviously a problem, and it's a problem nationwide. As you'll see, none of these people are from Mooresville, so they're all coming here. The individual from South Carolina drove 3 hours to get here. So it's important for us to do that. We're going to keep doing these. We have a different plan. I can tell you this. We have a different plan of attack for next time. We're already planning the next sort of operation. We have a different thing that we're going to roll out, some different strategies that I won't get into now, but because we can't keep doing the same thing. To that point, we did have one of the people that they were chatting with, the conversations were starting to heat up a little bit, and he said, yeah, well, why don't you Google Operation Artemis, and you'll see what we're talking about. So I hope you find what you're looking for. So the people that are using these sites are obviously aware of what we're doing, and that's fine if it helps. What we don't want, I mean, it's, we're taking these predators off the street, they're not here, but it's analogous to what I don't like to see, and the problem with these things is I don't want us to assume here in Mooresville that we're eradicating these people and it's a safe place. We want Mooresville to be safe, and we think for the most part it is. But I don't want there to be the perception, it's analogous to sort of stepping in a puddle, right? You step in a puddle and the water, right, the water goes and you pick up your foot and you go, oh, great, it's dry, right? The water's going somewhere, right? And so these are people that are in the outside area. And I can tell you this, there was a chatter that had talked about, and it was on, they were talking about it on a site, and they listed these people listed areas that they would service, like go to. And they listed Huntersville and Cornelius and Charlotte. They listed everybody around us, but they didn't list Mooresville. Which tells us, okay, so they think Mooresville's hot. That's great for us, but this is wide, right? It's not good for the area at a whole, right? So we're hoping that more organizations will start doing things like this and making it, you know, these people can't have a soft place to land with this stuff.
Chief, did these people actually show up?
They did.
Different places, or?
We had a house that we rented, and they were given, once we knew that they were coming for sure, they were given the address, and they showed up at the house, yes.
I've never heard of those other sites you mentioned, but
Yeah, you and me both.
But I have heard of Craigslist.
Yeah.
And how unusual is it for that type of thing to be on, when you think of Craigslist, you think of trying to get a job or
Sure. So
contract.
you know what? I'll have Brandon come up and talk to that because he's the expert in this stuff. He'll be able to give you a better viewpoint on that than I can.
Craigslist used to have an area called misconnections or looking for dates. They've kind of pushed that away, done away with that. So now when they're on Craigslist, they're more covert about what they're posting. So you have to read through the innuendo that they're posting on there and look at what they're actually asking for. They'll be advertising for things like missed a friend in the grocery store, and they'll have a very ambiguous description of an individual that they're hoping to meet. And that's the kind of postings they're putting out there now. They don't have a true dating section on Craigslist anymore. They've pushed that out because of these problems, but it's still out there. They're hiding it in other sections of Craigslist, if that makes sense.
And can you talk a little bit about what the other sites are and then how they're, I guess, they're using those tools?
Yeah, Sniffles and Wire Club are basically old school chat rooms that are still active. There's just people from all over the world to get on there, and we have to sort through and filter through and find people that are more local. Kick is an old messaging app that we've had problems with for a long time. They've been trying to fix those, and we're still working it hard to try to sort through that too. It's just another messaging app that was very popular for a while with teenagers, and anything popular, unfortunately, with our kids becomes popular with predators that are looking for kids. Skip the Games is, for lack of a better term, a hookup website. It's people who are advertising, looking for people for a one-night stand, for lack of a better description.
Chief, if I heard correctly, you had one guy that was $250,000 secured bond?
Yes.
The rest of them were like 30, 60. Why was that guy's bond?
So, yeah, so that's Jefferson, this kid down here. He's the one with the pending charge that I talked about in Cabarrus County. So he already, like I said, he had already had that charge back in October, and he's out on bond on that. That's why his bond was so high. That was the main reason. And then he was the same one that admitted to investigators when he was interviewed afterwards that he admitted to 4 other hands-on incidents involving minors and some other stuff that, like I said, that Rowan County Sheriff's is investigating. So that's why his bond was so high, higher than the other ones.
Are they all free on bond now? or-
I don't know. We don't get that information if they're bonded out or not. We're not sure. I would doubt that he's out, but I don't know about the other ones.
Chief, could you point out the rest of the people in the pictures?
Yeah, sure. So that's Damon Jefferson down there. Judson Creech is this person here with the champion shirt on. Jorge Armando Martinez is this individual up here. Ismael Vasquez is this guy.
I think you got Jorge Ishmael mixed up.
Okay, so that's
That's Jorge.
So that's Jorge here, sorry. That's Ismael Vasquez, and that's Manuel Gonzalez. So this is Eddie Rigdon from Leland. I'll talk to you about him in a second too. This is James Courtney, out of the 91-year-old out of Lexington, and the last individual is William Toby. So let me talk to you a little bit about Rigdon. So he lives in Leland. He wouldn't come out here. We had him on chats. Chats are very good. So here's let me explain this to you too. So it talks about, all these charges talk about, most of them talk about soliciting the child, by computer and appearing. So there's two separate charges. So the crime is in the chats, okay? So once they're chatting, when it rises to a certain level, that allows us to charge. When they show up, it's a different charge, an additional charge. Leland was he was out in Leland, right, Rigdon? He wouldn't come here, it was too far, but he offered to pay, and he was showing us money, he was offering to pay for the individuals, the females, to come out to him. He would pay for them to come out to him. So that wasn't gonna happen, obviously. So there was enough there in the chats to charge him with felony soliciting by the computer. That's why that's the only charge. So they went out, Sheriff's Department out there went out and arrested him and got a search warrant for his house. They've also seized his computer and his phones. And we have a number of these phones from these individuals and their computers. I don't think it's a stretch to say that we're gonna get additional charges off of these phones and computers, and we're still in the process of going through those. We believe there's gonna be pictures on there, and other things. So, like I said, I don't think it's a stretch to suggest we're gonna have other charges coming as a result of this.
Can you talk a little bit more about like how long an operation, like putting something like this together, and I know you mentioned about some appearing into a home, in general, what you can tell us about
Brandon set all this up, so I'll let him speak to that.
It takes quite a bit of time to get it organized, to reach out to all these individuals and other agencies and get them to promise to send you one or two people here and there, because we can't do it alone. It takes a lot of cooperation, and we do the same thing when other agencies do these. So all these different agencies, they sent 2 or 3 detectives or officers to assist in different manners. So there's a lot of emails going back and forth and phone calls to get all that lined up, and then the logistics of making sure everyone's taken care of. We got hotel rooms, food like that. There is a lot of planning in the background to get it going, and a lot of chaos in the moment when all the chatting's going on and the people are showing up. But it's in the long run, it's definitely worth it. And with each one we've done, we're not reinventing the wheel now. We're just polishing it. We're making it a little smoother each time.
So how long time frame were you guys were chats happening, and then was there like a week or something that okay, this is the date we're picking to get folks to come to this house, and then?
It's different in each case. Some individuals talk for extended periods of time. Some people are from the beginning of the chat to they're on their way in an hour. Some of them are very quick. It's just so dependent on the individual.
Randy, could you please spell your last name and title? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine, sir. Its last name is Styers, S-T-Y-E-R-S, and my title is detective.
And could you please spell some of those sites names? I don't want to go on them to try.
Yeah, you don't want to go on them. Sniffles.
We'll call you.
Sniffles is S-N-I-F-F-L-E-S. Kick is K-I-K. That's a messaging app. Craigslist, I think we're all familiar with that one. And there was a few more. Yep.
Also, can you kind of talk about advice for parents and so forth, as well as what how is it that kids ages 13 to 15 and so forth are ending up on these sites? What are they looking for, and how can parents better serve this?
Yeah, the best thing is parents be involved with your kids' lives. Keep a check on them. There are parenting apps.
You don't have to leave if you don't want to.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
How many of these guys